Wow. This is the first sit-down interview of the second season of the Muse Report podcast. I am excited, if you can't hear it in my voice. I'm a pretty monotone person, but this is about as good as you're going to get for me. I am super excited to be debuting the second season of the Muse Report podcast. Thank you all who are tuned in to this first episode. What I want you to do, especially in honor of this first episode, this first interview of the Muse Report podcast season 2, is screenshot it on your phone. If you're listening right now, take a quick screenshot, put it on your Instagram story, and tag the podcast at the Muse Report podcast on Instagram, or you could do it on Facebook if you want. The same thing, the Muse Report podcast. But screenshot that, put it on your story. I'll be looking for those just to see who's listening, see who's tuning into the first interview, the first episode of the Muse Report podcast. And I'll be reposting, shouting you guys out, thanking you guys for tuning in. So just take a quick screenshot for me and show me that you are listening. My first guest on this season is Mike Doughty. If you don't know who that is, it's a guy from Philly, who just does his thing on the art canvas. He is an artist. MD Graphics Co. is his company, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and he has recently just blown up with his Philadelphia art pieces being shout out by Allen Iverson, Will Smith, Meek Mill, all these people who are seeing his work. And I said, I have to talk to this guy to see how he just broke through. And I'm looking at his art, and it is amazing, like amazing. Dude is super with the culture, both hip hop culture, basketball culture, Philadelphia culture, pop culture. He shows it through his art. And I sit down with him to see how his story came about. And he really inspired me, mostly through the fact that you don't know what is going to work. Often we try to figure out this formula to break through and find our niche or find that opportunity. But even facing doubt, even facing some rejection, he kept pushing, kept doing his thing, and eventually it worked, and eventually it broke through. And he tells us his story. I know you're going to love it. And you could follow him to see some of his artwork that we talk about in this episode at More Than Mic'd on Instagram. That's more, MORE, than Mic'd, MIKED, More Than Mic'd, Mike Doughty on Instagram. Follow him. You will definitely love his art pieces. And in fact, I'm just going to let you hear this episode to hear his story. So let's cue that intro music and get into it.
Loading.
Extra, read all about it.
It's a case study for success.
Be teachable.
What better way to learn than to just ask?
The learning process becomes a journey.
Turning dreams into realities.
Part of execution is totally believing whatever you're doing is going to work.
What are your passions and what are your gifts? And that's where it really starts.
Chances are for taking. Take a chance on yourself.
Any and everyone is capable of being a leader.
You're not going to have all the answers immediately.
Wow.
Mentors to expose you to things that you otherwise wouldn't know.
It was all I thought about in dreaming. Like I would literally get up in the morning, practice, because I knew the time would come.
Just do it.
So basically what I do for this podcast is like I'm a college student, and I started this podcast a couple months ago, basically trying to figure out the route to success for myself and for a whole bunch of people who I know are just like me. So basically I just started it up on a whim. Was like, I'm just gonna go full blown into this, and it kind of grew into something that I really liked, and other people were enjoying the stuff I was doing. So I'm trying to get some more people who I think really I've watched basically turn what they love to do, or turn something that they've always aspired towards and like made it into a reality. So I don't even remember really how I came across your work. I know it was on Instagram. But I can't remember, like, I feel like I saw somebody else post it or something like that, and I like checked it out. I think it was the like Mike stuff that you were doing, which I was like, man, this is dope. And I looked up your page and I was like, man, this dude is talented. Like, so I followed and I saw the things you were doing. And then I saw you do the Philly
Philly piece, yeah.
Philly piece. And I saw that really took off, and I was like, wow. So I don't know, I just saw something in you that I liked, and something that I wanted to like kind of get a piece of, because oftentimes, you know, we see the success, or we see the back end, you know, or the front end really of what people are doing, but we don't know what happened all the way up leading up to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So lots of hard work, lots of things that people don't know about, that they make assumptions about how to get there, but they really don't know the story. So that's kind of what I try to do, break down on the show. So basically, yeah, we could get into it. And what I always like to do, because it's interesting how people's past kind of affects their present or future. Right. So I like to start all the way at the beginning. So where are you from? And you're growing up, like, how did that impact you? And like stuff like that.
All right, so from Philly, of course.
Right, Philly.
Born and raised here, man. You know, growing up, I love my city. My influences were like Will Smith and stuff like that. So, you know, I always took pride in my, you know, where I'm from, because these dudes took pride in where they're from. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I grew up with that mindset of like, yo, always be proud of where you came from and stuff like that. And I always knew I wanted to be an artist. Always knew I wanted to, you know, make illustrations and make art that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because art to me was like very confusing, like very confusing. I don't have like that artsy background. I'm just some dude who had ideas. But all my life I went to like public schools. They didn't really teach you much. It's pretty much, you know, graduate, right, and then go on with your life. And
so
I want. Mm-hmm.
So, like, what was the thing that really inspired you? Because you said you always wanted to be an artist. So, was there like a point where you said, this is what I got to do?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. You know what? I always wanted to be an artist, but I never had a vision of what an artist would look like as a career. Like, what does an artist do? Mm-hmm. How does an artist make money? And how does an artist get out there for exposure? And this is before social media was around, and you know what I mean? So I didn't really have a clue of like, you know, how to do it. I was always told that I can have a vision. I was always told that I can be successful, man, but I never had a clue what success looked like as an artist. But I always knew I can draw. Like, when I say I can draw, like, I can draw. Not until last year. Last year really just made a huge difference for me, man. I got an understanding of, like, how far it can take me. Because once I got on Instagram, started seeing other people, how they were successful, I'm like, yo, I think I really can do this.
Right, yeah.
And I started getting all these ideas about different artwork. And, like, I was trying to give it to my friend. His name is Justin Richburg. And Justin Richburg, he's already like big already. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I don't want to start over. I'd rather give my ideas to somebody else so they can use it. And I'll give him my ideas, but he would never use it. Mm-hmm. So I said, I'm going to do it. Right. And once I did it, man, I just started a whole new wave of like just going after my dreams. You know, it just inspired me like to go after my dreams. Once I seen like one of my first art pieces like went out there and it actually reached somebody that I was trying to reach, it just sparked something in me like, yo, I think I can really do this. And I said, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go hard with it until I'm gonna give myself 1 year. Cool. And if I get in 1 year, I'm gonna be done. You know what I mean? So I actually gave myself 1 year. And my first big piece I did was the one with Darth Vader cutting Big Daddy Kane's hair. And
Yeah, I seen that one. Yeah.
yeah, I did it, and Big Daddy Kane saw it and gave me a shout out, man. I was just like, wow, I think I can really do this.
Right.
And right after that, I made the Like Mike piece, dude. And I said, yo, this is the piece, dude. I said, I don't think I do anything to top it, yo. That's my favorite piece of all time. I don't think I can top the Like Mike piece. I don't think I can do it, man. That's my favorite piece, dude. I love it. Like I said, I can wear the shirt, wear the hoodie every day if I could. I just love the piece.
Yeah, man, that's the piece that really caught my attention. I was like, whoa, what is this? Like, the creativity, like the thought behind it, I was just like, wow, this is super dope. Like, I had to find out who this guy is. So like, when you were growing up, did you ever have like a person who was like encouraging you, or was it just like, you know what, I got this talent that, you know, I'm just going to do my thing and go through, and then eventually you're like, maybe I could be an artist or something like that?
Yeah, so for me, like, one thing about me, I brought my art book everywhere I go. Like, everywhere I went, I brought my art book. So, like, everybody knew I can draw, like, to the point where, you know, everybody know you can draw, you know, everybody started asking for favors.
Right.
That's how much everybody knew about, you know, my artwork. So, just like, you know, growing up, you know, drawing my favorite cartoons, like Dragon Ball Z, and, you know, people saw that, and it was like, yo, can you do me? Can you do bubble letters and all that stuff? And so it was no secret. You know, everybody knew, and everybody was supportive. Like, I never had that one person like, yo, you'll never make it. Like, I always had a team of, like, support around me, you know, always encouraging me, like, to do more and go further in life. Because, like, I don't know, I felt like I was always that kid that was different around a bunch. Like, everybody else around me, man, pretty much wanted to, you know, sell drugs, do drugs, you know, sleep around, make babies, and didn't understand that all that stuff is going to catch up to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it was just like, I don't know, I had an understanding like, yo, if I do this, I know the end result. So I was like, I didn't want to get around all that nonsense, even though my friends were doing it. But I kind of had my own mindset, and I made my own decision, like, not to do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or, like, do it heavily. You know what I mean? So I kind of, like, you know, art was pretty much my drug almost, because I knew if I did other things,
it kept you
know,
out.
it would have led me in a different, you know, different route. So I mean, I always had that team of support. You know what I mean? I always had that vision of, like, I'm gonna be successful. I just didn't know the directions to take in order to, like, get in a successful lane. You know what I mean? So I always had a team. I always had the support system. I always that mindset, like, I'm gonna go get it. I just never knew how I was gonna do it. And that's what kind of held me back, not knowing how. Like, how is artwork going to take me to another level? Because, like, my teachers would tell me you can go far. And I'm like, okay, how do I go far? And this is before social media. And once I seen on Instagram how everybody else was, like, doing some amazing stuff, I'm like, yo, I can do this. I can do this. So I was like, yo, let me do it, man. So.
Yeah, I mean, I always find it interesting how, I mean, it's a trend. I listen to lots of podcasts and I talk to lots of people. And one thing that's kind of common throughout all those things is, like, once they find that thing that they really enjoy doing, it kind of takes up so much of your time. You don't really have time to be doing other stuff. Like they say, you know, my friends are doing this and that. Some of them understood. Some of them didn't really get it. But, you know, this is what I like to do, and I knew that it kept me out of doing something else that I wasn't supposed to do. So I find that interesting. The trend.
It's the truth, though, man. It's the truth. It's definitely the truth, man. Because it's like, you know, you gotta have that mindset. Like, yo, I'm gonna make sure I live life to the fullest. The only way to do that is to stay focused. You know what I mean? But if I'm busy doing something else, it's gonna be kind of hard to stay focused. You know what I mean? Well, that's just for me, personally. But
yeah,
like, I knew dudes that smoke weed and they're very successful. So it's just like, I can't not all that other stuff. You know what I mean? Or do drugs and they're very successful. But I can't really for me, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. So I have to stay away from that stuff.
I feel like that doesn't work for most people.
Right.
It's a select few that we see it works for, and we think everybody thinks they could do it, but that's not true.
Oh, I don't know if you heard about this guy who met Kanye West, this homeless dude.
Nah, I didn't.
Kanye West let this homeless dude like rap to him, but he was homeless, but he wasn't like homeless.
Right. Okay.
He just following his dreams, and it kind of like left him in the street. And he met Kanye West, and it went viral, man. But we was with the homeless dude last night because he's not like deadbeat homeless. He just came from Florida, and he's supposed to intern with Charlemagne, and everything just didn't go well. And my man he knows Charlemagne, and they was talking to him way before he met Kanye West. And he was telling you about him, and then he was like, "Yo, while we here, you trying to go meet the boy that met Kanye West?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, we was with him last night." And I think, me personally, bro, I think he made the album because the album was supposed to drop SNL night, and he met the boy the same night, and he didn't release the album that night. I'm thinking like, "Yo, your man, the homeless boy, made the album, bro," because ain't no way. And we met him last night. I don't know.
Right? Yeah, he probably did. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think he made the album. You know, I can't really say what he told us, but I think he made the album. He said he heard the whole Yandhi album.
For real? Oh,
yeah,
dang.
he heard the whole Yandhi album, and I was like, "Yo, man," I'm like, he made the album. He keeps saying like he didn't. He kind of like trying to say he didn't make it, but I'm saying like he made it, dog. Cause I don't know if I can't even be saying this stuff, but because he's like one of those insider things.
Right.
But his name is Justin Richburg. He did the Childish Gambino video with the cartoon.
With the cartoons? Oh shoot!
Yeah.
Summer. What is it called? Summer. I think
Summertime or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing was crazy.
Yeah, I was with him last night. He was like, "Yeah, let's go meet the boy that met Kanye West." I was like, "All right, cool."
So he's an artist too.
Yeah, he's an artist as well, and that's what I was saying. I was trying to get my ideas to him in the beginning, cause like that's my we grew up together. And I was going to give him my ideas because he was already established. I'm like, "Yo, if I give you my ideas, yo, you can go further with it." Because I had just all these ideas started flowing to me out of nowhere. And he just would never do it. He would never do it. And next thing you know, I was like, "I'm going to do it, man, because you're playing around." Because I went to go see Star Wars. And I called him. I was like, "Yo, you know what would be tough? Darth Vader cutting Big Daddy Kane hair." And he's like, "Oh, that would be tough." I was like, "You should do it." He's like, "No, I'm doing other stuff." I'm like, "Man, you're stupid."
People, yeah, that's the thing though. You bring ideas to people, and people are like, yeah, whatever, and then you're like, "All right, so what's up?" And then it's just like, nah.
Yeah, so I was like, "I'm gonna do it, man." Because I'm like, "Yo, you can't sleep on that." So I said, "You know what? I'm gonna do it." Because I didn't want to start from the bottom, man.
That's a great decision.
I did not want to start from the bottom. I really didn't. And it was almost like that mom or that parent who can live like their dream out of somebody they know.
Mm-hmm.
Like as long as they like are pushing the same thing you was trying to push. So I was really trying to like live my dream to him, like be happy just off of his success. But I'm like, "Dog, you can't be sleeping on these ideas I got, dude." And so I was like, "No, let me do it," because I feel like I got a chance of doing something with it. And I just like, you know what, I got to start from the bottom, and I'm gonna do that. Like I started with 300 followers. Not saying that my followers right now is like major or big time or anything like that, but like in 1 year I jumped to 9,000. Like
right.
1 year, man. So it was just like, wow, 1 year. And next month is actually 1 month and 1 year anniversary.
Wow. And, so you basically jumped like 8,000 followers pretty much, or more than that in 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year, dude. Like in 1 year.
Wow. As far as social media goes, because that's plays such a big part in everyday life for everyone, pretty much. How did you go about? I don't want to say the science because that sounds a little, mathematical. But did you notice any trends or anything like that while you were trying to do the social media thing? Because lots of people out here, I see them, "Oh man, look at my stuff, trying to brand themselves. Everyone's trying to be a brand now. The market is really saturated. Everybody's trying to do the same thing. Everybody's looking for the same attention from the same people."
Mm-hmm.
So like, finding a way to cut through that, or be different, or even just the formula. I guess formula is really concrete. I know it's not that easy, but something has to work as far as that goes. And I kind of want to get into what you did regarding that. I know one thing for me is consistency. That's the one thing that I know works, but I feel like there's some other things that go into it. And clearly you did a pretty good job getting 8,000 plus followers in a year. So
yeah, I mean, I think one thing, like growing up, as a black man, I understand the culture. You know what I mean? The culture is very like, growing up with something, you have an idea of what everybody else likes. I can guarantee that every black person, I can say every black person, but majority of the, the black culture loves macaroni and cheese.
Right.
So if I was to come to a place where like a cookout, what I'm gonna bring? I'm gonna bring mac and cheese. I'm gonna bring some barbecue chicken.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I know that we all love it. So if I understand the culture, I can bring something that everybody can love and everybody can enjoy. And I mean, that might sound racist.
No, it doesn't sound racist. I mean, you don't even have to say necessarily the culture, or I mean, you can say the culture or black people or whatever, because I mean, we're black, but just that basically goes to just knowing who your audience is and who you're trying to appeal to, basically. I mean, you're not gonna go to a cookout and bring like some like I don't know, like a cake, or I mean, not a cake, but like something that's not food. Like you're going to bring something that people want. So that basically you were just appealing to the people that you knew that you were trying to reach.
Exactly. So I knew. Listen, I never like try to like do stuff that like try to like sell out and only do stuff that people like. You know what I mean? But if I'm going to bring something, like I'm gonna bring something that I like and I know other people will like. I don't never want to be one of those people like, yo, I know everybody would love this, so let me do it. Like, no, I want to do stuff that I love, and I know they're gonna love it too because I love it more. And I was so like, I believed in my work so much. I was actually confused, like, why the like Mike piece didn't go like so far in the very beginning. I was like, yo, this picture is so tough, like. Because I knew, like, once I did, like, these pieces, man, like, my first two pieces, I was like, yo, I got something really good going on. And I believed in it so much, I was like, yo, I think this might go viral or something like that. And I loved it so much, and I put it out there, and, like, I think the first time I put it out there, I probably got, like, 10 likes or 50 likes or something like that. And that was, like, my normal thing, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, I got 10 likes, I'm like, all right, cool, And but I thought like, yo, everybody's gonna love it. And but what I mean, it just took that consistency, like you said, because it was like, dang, I can drop one piece, but it's not gonna go far. People don't really believe in it. What I mean? Because I can be that one hit wonder, or whatever like that. Because I guess the more people see your work, man, the more they believe in you. They believe in everything else. So it's just like I did that one picture, and that wasn't enough. So I had to keep going and drop more and more and more. And next thing you know, like everything else complemented my favorite piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So next thing you know, everybody just started believing in my work. You know what I mean? Because they saw like, dang, I kind of got the vision for, what can look good. You know what I mean? So, everybody started believing in my work, and it's just been crazy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that really speaks to, I think, a lot of people. I know I identify with it. I mean, sometimes when I put out a episode, I'm like, this is a banger right here. Like, I know everybody's gonna love this. I know it. And then like it gets the least amount of views or listens or something like that. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And sometimes you feel really discouraged or something, like, man, what am I doing wrong or whatever like that. But so like, how did you deal, like, let's say with the Like Mike piece? I mean, eventually that was kind of what popped, but at that moment when you put it out, you like, I know everybody's gonna love this, and it didn't get the response that you wanted. How did you deal with that?
I just felt like, man, everybody, in the beginning, this is one of the things I live by. In the beginning, everything is hard. Everything is hard in the beginning. Like when I started my job, because I still work 9 to 5, and in my job I have like a super stressful job. Like I work in a courtroom, and I basically type orders for judges. But I do a huge number of things in the courtroom, and like my job has like discouraged a lot of people from working in my environment. Like people who would come in my field was just like, "Yo, I can't do this," and they would quit, like literally quit. Some people walk out the courtroom, but I felt like this. So I told myself when I started my job, if I stick with the process, I guarantee that this thing will work. Because one day, man, I was just praying. I was asking God, like, yo, just give me direction. I just felt something within me like, yo, if you work something, it will work. So if you keep working at something, it has to work. Because that is the principle of just working diligently. If you work towards something, it has to work. Because how in the world are you going to work 10 years and you see no fruit? I don't understand that. You can't work a certain amount of time and get no return. You can't. It's like you can't be going 50 plus years and you haven't benefited anything yet. You haven't been successful in anything yet. So basically, man, I just felt like, man, if I just keep working, you know what I mean, I know it will work because there's no way that the image is bad. You know, it's all about just getting myself out there. So if I guarantee if I keep going, I guarantee more and more people will see it because if I believe in it, I guarantee is somebody else that believes in it. And if I'm sharing it, I guarantee there's somebody else that's going to share it. Because if the content is good, nobody is going to keep something good to themselves. Everybody loves sharing something good. So it's like, even if it's good gossip, nobody's going to keep good gossip to themselves. Even if it's a good recipe, nobody's going to keep a good recipe to themselves. Even if it's a good idea, that idea is going to be shared among the world. You know what I mean? So eventually. So if my content is good, somebody's going to take that and like, yo, look at this because I want to share this with you. So it's just like, man, if I stick with the process, I can guarantee I will see the fruit of my labor. And that just encouraged me like, dang, like I've never seen a person work at something consistently and fail. I've never seen it. I guarantee a story like that, but it's not so often when you see somebody working really, really hard and you stay consistent. I've never seen a person fail like after being consistent. Like what? You're telling me if you work hard, if you work hard, eat right, you won't lose weight? You're telling me if you work hard, make money, you won't save up? Nah, that stuff's going to build. So it just that gave me encouragement. Like, oh, if I just keep going, it's a wrap.
So have you ever thought that a piece or some content wasn't good before?
Of mine?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. Yo, the Philly piece, dude. I wasn't sure at first when I posted.
Really?
I wasn't sure. I was like, I think I sent this to somebody, and it was like, "That's cool." I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Maybe it's cool." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "All right." Then, because I did just before I did the Philly piece, I did a piece I called Philly Fusion, and that's with Will Smith, Kevin Hart, and Meek Mill.
Yeah.
And I showed somebody that, and they was like, "Yeah, that's all right." I was like, "Are you serious?" So I'm thinking like, something must be wrong with me, because it's like, because sometimes I want to receive that, like that critic. Like that critic's input. I want to receive that because, because I don't want everybody to just be biased. Like, yo, that's hot.
Yeah.
And like, nah, don't say it because you're my friend. So whenever I hear something negative, I'll always receive it as the truth. Because who doesn't receive like negative stuff as the truth? Because like, if you're being negative, I consider it being honest. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but you know what I mean. So when a person gives like a negative feedback, I'm thinking like, dang, must be the truth. You know what I mean? So like, I can make something that's real hot in my opinion, and I can show it to somebody like, nah. I'm like, what? So that kind of leaves me like, maybe it's not that good. You know what I mean? But then I'm like, because when I dropped the Philly piece, nobody was really liking it. I was like, what? And I was so tired. I took a nap, dog. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna sleep on it, whatever like that. And I woke up, and they say, no. Iverson shared it, and I went crazy, dude. I literally ran out the house, and but yeah, I was
Wow.
like, I really looked at some pieces like, dang, this John must not be that good.
Yeah.
Makes I dropped the Philly piece, nobody was really liking it. I'm like, damn, I know it's early in the morning. I posted that joint like 10:30 in the morning, and I'm thinking, all right, nobody, I don't know. So I just like, you know what, forget it. I don't care. I just went to sleep, and I woke up like a half an hour later. I had like a half an hour later. It was like a quick nap. So I know because I work super hard. Like I don't play too much with the sleeping around stuff. I just work all the time. So it was just like I was like, let me just take a quick nap, shut my eyes real fast. 'Cause I stayed up all night working on it, and next thing you know, everything just took off. But yeah, there's definitely some pieces that I'll be like, this can't be good. This might not be good. This might not receive like a lot of attention. And sometimes it do, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I feel
But
like
yeah,
that's so important. I mean, I know for myself, there's certain pieces of content that I make, I'm like, I do not really feel, or like I feel like people won't like it, or sometimes I'm like, I'm really excited about it, and people are like, oh, okay, that's cool, man. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're not as excited as I am. But
yeah.
I feel like, I mean, I don't know if you watch Gary Vee or whatever. He's like this serial entrepreneur dude that's like turned motivational speaker guy. He's like popping on YouTube and Instagram now or whatever. But he's coined the phrase document over create. So basically that's saying don't take so much time trying to create something perfect that you don't put anything out there. Document and keep it moving. Put whatever you're doing, pretty much go off an impulse. Put it out there, put it out there, put it out there. Eventually something's going to pop, even if everything doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think, I mean, you're another example of, even though you might not feel so good about something, put it out there anyway. You never really know what could happen.
Yeah.
So what do you think is, because often when people keep doing something, they're consistent with it, they have this drive, and success starts to happen, it doesn't just happen because you think you could get success from it. You're doing it from a different place. Most people have a purpose or a mission in what they're doing. What would that be for you?
So I always like to do art with a message. I don't want to just create artwork just to create it. Sometimes, like, I might create a piece that, you can just, like, visually just, enjoy, whatever like that, just to look at something and just enjoy it. Most of the time, I always want to share artwork with, like, a message because, I want a person to look at my stuff and, get some type of feeling, some type of emotion from it, you know what I mean? Either joy, laughter, anger, or even sadness, you know what I mean? So, like, I always try to create art with substance, something people can feel and understand. And so, like, as far as, like, just trying to, my approach is as far as, like, if it's, like, controversial, like, I want somebody to feel something, even if they feel like, yo, this piece is, like, dumb, like, even if it's that feeling, I want somebody to be like, yo, like, have some type of emotion, because if my piece can, like, bring out something in somebody, then I hit my target, I made my mark, because if my goal is to make somebody mad, and it does, then I got what I needed to get, because I want my artwork to, like, hit somebody in the gut, you know what I mean, like, dang, like, that just took everything out of me. Because, if it's good, somebody else is going to express it. And it's just like, how do I want them to express it? With laughter, with sadness, with anger? How do I want them to express it? Because I don't want them to just ignore it. You know what I mean? I want them, because when they see it, I want it to bring back a memory. I want it to bring new things, new ideas. You know what I mean? So I just always try to create artwork with substance and with a message. But not all the time. Sometimes I just post stuff because I'm like, yo, this is so crazy. This is so cool. So, and but yeah, so I never, like, my thing is I never try to chase money. Never try to chase money, man. What I do is I try to chase a legacy. I don't want to chase money, man. Money didn't get me in front of, like, Patty the Bell. Money didn't get me on the news and stuff like that. money didn't really get me nowhere. It was all about, what I believed in, my legacy. You know what I mean? So I feel like when somebody else believes in what you believe in, they'll carry you. You know what I mean? They'll support you.
So what's the moment in your career that you love the most so far, or like the moment that just kind of like blew your mind?
Man, when I dropped the Philly piece, man. When I dropped the piece and I got the everybody's like attention, that just was like, whoa. And the biggest part of that was when when Will Smith shared it, yo, like,
yeah,
because I'm thinking like, yo, I'm starting seeing all these celebrities share my picture, and I'm thinking like, dang, Will Smith he's going to share it, and like a day passed, I'm like, oh, a whole day passed, and if all these celebrities sharing it, I'm like, oh, he ain't gonna share it, because the next day, the whole day, he ain't share it. I'm like, oh, he ain't gonna share it. And then the very next morning, dude, I look at my phone. I'm playing chess with somebody. And I get a notification. And I looked at my phone, and somebody said, Will Smith shared your picture. And as soon as I saw that, my phone died. I was like, yo, I was like, my phone fainted. I was like, what in the world? Yo, I found the quickest outlet. I was like, yo, I had my charger on me. I quit the game. I said, yo, you won. I went to the nearest outlet. I was like, yo, these boys better not be lying to me, yo. Because if they lying, yo, I'm follow everybody.
Right.
So I was like, you find the quickest outlet. I found the outlet, plugged my phone up, charged it up, turned that joint on, and I had a bad connection I was at church. I had a bad connection in there. But I went to Will Smith's page, and everything was blank. It was loading up. But one thing it says Will Smith posted one new picture. And I was like, yo, that's my picture. I guarantee that's my picture. And when it finally loaded up, yo, I saw it. I literally dropped to the floor, dude. I literally dropped to the floor. And I wanted to cry so bad, because it's like, you work hard towards something so long. And it's just like, yo, like, it really reached this dude.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, man. And after he posted it, the news hit me up, came to my house, did an interview on me, and they said, yo, when you do part 2, we want you to come to the studio and reveal it live on air. So I was like, wow, this is so crazy, man. So it was that moment. It was like, I wanted to cry, man, because like I'm an emotional guy anyway. I cry so much, dude. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I go to movies and cry. You know what I mean? Like, I cried during Toy Story 3, dude.
Oh, that's a serious story, man.
In that moment, yo, man, like, it's serious. So, like, when that moment happened, I was like, dude, I just felt, like, complete. I felt so complete, man. I felt like, wow, like, I was born, like, I always loved art, and here I am being recognized. I even based it on, like, how I grew up playing with toys. Because I remember I used to play with toys, dude, and I used to, like, my story will always be the same. Like, I always be that kid who was the underdog, and he would be that kid just didn't know his potential. Like, my toy stories will always be the same. And eventually he meets that one person who, like, trains him or whatever like that, and like makes him like into this powerful dude, like, and next thing you know, he's like the greatest person.
Karate Kid.
And so, like, that was like, yeah, like those movies like really kind of like, I don't know, like they kind of triggered me to like think one way, but like I saw myself in that way, man. I saw myself in all the things all those underdog stories, but I just knew I was going to be successful, man. It was only a matter of time.
If someone was so captivated by your story during this interview that they just were listening, they just stopped everything they were doing and they didn't write one thing down, what is one thing that you will say, take out a pencil or a pen and write this down so that you could take this to make your dream into reality in the future? What would be one piece of advice that you would like to leave?
I would say believe, because if you believe it, man, it has to happen. Stay consistent. Because Because if you really believe in your work, there's nothing that's going to keep you from just keep pursuing it. You know what I mean? Like, if you stay consistent, guarantee success. And I just believe in principles, man. I believe if we work hard, we have to see some type of result. You know, we have to see some type of outcome that goes in our favor. So I would say just believe and be consistent. Because if you stay consistent, you know, people will enjoy it. Because it's almost like your favorite TV show. If your favorite TV show come on once a year, I'm going to pull away from that TV show.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch that. But if it comes on every week, dude, I'm a fan. I'm glued to the TV, and I can't wait for the next thing. But if you keep me waiting, you're going to get out my memory.
That's good. Yeah.
So just like, man, just stay consistent and believe in the work. Got to.
Cool. Awesome, bro. I appreciate you taking out the time, man.
Nah, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, bro. Like, keep doing your thing. You inspire people like me because, I mean, even though I don't think you're anywhere close to the pinnacle of your success, I can see the growth and I can see like where you're headed, and it inspires me because it shows that, okay, a kid from Maryland that necessarily didn't have everything growing up could still do the same thing, could be successful if I stay consistent and if I believe in my work, you know? So I appreciate it, man.
Oh, most definitely, man. That's what I do it for. I want to inspire so many people, man, because I don't want to just do stuff just to be doing it. I want somebody to walk away with something.
Yeah.
Got to walk away with something, man. So if I can inspire anybody, you know what I mean, I did my job.
Yeah, that's the purpose I
I
do in
bro.
everything.
Dog. You stay consistent, man. You got it. Listen, just like anybody else.
Well, that's the end of our first interview of the season 2 of the Music Report podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. I learned a lot from Mike's story. Hopefully you can tune into his art. Follow him on Instagram at morethanmiked on Instagram and just, enjoy it. I know I like seeing his pieces. And if you don't follow us on Instagram, you can follow us at the Music Report podcast as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. I would appreciate your subscription so that you can get notified every time I drop a new episode, which will be every Tuesday. So we'll have another one for you next week. Thanks for tuning in to the first one, and I will see you on the flip side. Peace.
Well, that's the end of our MRP episode. Thank you for listening, everything, but it's time to go. We'll have a new one for you next week on the flip side. But until then, don't kill the vibe, subscribe. Don't kill the vibe, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Don't kill the vibe, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Don't kill the vibe, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Don't kill the vibe, make sure you go ahead and subscribe.
Hey guys, Clee here. Thanks so much for listening to the Build Your Vision podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I would think you did if you stayed all the way to the end. The best thing that you could do to help support this show is by sharing it with somebody. By you just taking a few seconds to recommend this show to somebody, you are making a huge impact, not only on the success of this show, but possibly on that person's life.